Is Germany's political landscape really as complex and impenetrable as people believe? That's the question we pose today as we venture into the intricate world of German politics. It's a realm often viewed as a labyrinth, a convoluted maze of structures and systems that many find difficult to comprehend. But how much of this perception is based on fact, and how much is merely a myth? Let's start by laying the groundwork. Germany operates under a federal system, much like the United States. It's composed of 16 states, each with its own constitution. These states, or Länder, have their own governments and are granted significant autonomy. This federal nature is one of the key elements that contribute to the perceived complexity of German politics. However, the heart of the political system lies in its political parties. The Bundestag, the German federal parliament, is made up of members from various political parties. The two major parties that have dominated the scene for decades are the Christian Democratic Union, or CDU, and the Social Democratic Party, SPD. But the political spectrum in Germany is broad, with numerous other parties playing significant roles in shaping the country's policies and direction. These parties, their ideologies, their coalitions, and their rivalries form a dynamic, ever-evolving political landscape. It's this constant shifting and reshaping that often leads to the perception of German politics as an enigma, a puzzle that's too intricate to solve. But is this perception accurate? Is German politics truly a Gordian knot impossible to untangle? Or are we simply looking at a system that, like any other, has its complexities and subtleties, its unique features and quirks? As we delve deeper into this fascinating subject, we aim to shed light on the realities of German politics, to separate fact from fiction, to debunk the myths and misconceptions that often cloud our understanding of this crucial aspect of one of Europe's most influential nations. The first myth that we will debunk is that the German political system is too complex for anyone to understand. Brace yourselves as we embark on this enlightening journey into the heart of German politics. Scene script: German politics complex? Not quite so. Let's dive deeper into the heart of the German political system. It's intricate, yes, but with a little patience, it's not incomprehensible. The German political system is a federal parliamentary republic where power is divided between the federal government and the 16 federal states. The two main bodies of the national government are the Bundestag and the Bundesrat. The Bundestag, or the Federal Diet, is the main legislative body. It's directly elected by the people and holds the power to pass laws on matters that affect the whole of Germany. The Bundestag is also responsible for electing the Chancellor, who is typically the leader of the majority party or coalition. On the other hand, the Bundesrat, or the Federal Council, represents the federal states and has a say in legislation that directly affects them. It's composed of members appointed by the state governments, and its influence on the national stage can't be underestimated. Forming a government in Germany is a process that requires consensus and cooperation. The parties must form coalitions to secure a majority in the Bundestag. This coalition-building process is a key feature of the German political landscape, fostering negotiation and compromise instead of polarization. The Chancellor, often dubbed as the Federal Chancellor, is the head of the government and wields significant clout. The chancellorship is more than a ceremonial position. The Chancellor sets the direction of the government, proposes legislation, and represents Germany both at home and abroad. This position is currently held by Olaf Scholz, who leads the Social Democratic Party of Germany. So, while the German political system might seem like a labyrinth of institutions and processes, it's actually designed for stability and representation. It's a system where different voices can be heard, where power is dispersed, and where consensus is valued over confrontation. The German political system, while unique, is not as complex as it's often portrayed. Are German politics really dominated by the two major parties? This is a question that sparks quite a lot of debate. The Christian Democratic Union and Christian Social Union Alliance, often shortened to CDU-CSU, and the Social Democratic Party, or SPD, have indeed been the powerhouses of the German political landscape for many years. They have consistently held the reins of government, and it's easy to see why one might think they alone call the shots. But to say that German politics are strictly a two-party show would be an oversimplification. Germany operates under a system known as proportional representation. This means that parties are awarded seats in the Bundestag, Germany's federal parliament, in proportion to the number of votes they receive in the federal elections. Now let's introduce some of the other key players. The Greens, for instance, are a force to be reckoned with. Their focus on environmental issues resonates with a significant portion of the German population, making them a formidable presence in the Bundestag. Then we have the Free Democratic Party, or FDP, who champions civil liberties and free market economics. Their influence, though perhaps less visible, is nonetheless crucial in shaping German policy. And let's not forget the left and the Alternative for Germany, or AfD, who, despite being on opposite ends of the political spectrum, both command sizable followings and have a say in the direction of German politics. These smaller parties often hold the balance of power, particularly in coalition governments where the big two don't have a majority. Their role is critical in forming government policy, and their influence can be felt in everything from domestic issues to foreign policy. So while the CDU, CSU, and SPD may be the most visible faces of German politics, they are by no means the only ones. The Greens, FDP, the left, and AfD all play significant roles in shaping the political landscape. German politics isn't just a two-party game, it's a vibrant and dynamic multi-party system. Does the German Chancellor hold all the power? Now there's a question that's been circling the political sphere for quite some time. To the untrained eye, it might seem that the Chancellor, being the head of government, wields ultimate control. But, as we dive deeper, we discover that the reality of German politics is not as black and white as it may seem. Let's start by taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture. In Germany, power is distributed among four main entities: the Chancellor, the Cabinet, the Bundestag, and the Bundesrat. The Chancellor, while indeed influential, does not solely dictate the course of the country. The Cabinet, composed of federal ministers appointed by the Chancellor, plays a crucial role in the decision-making process. These ministers are responsible for various sectors of the government, and their input is vital in shaping policies and directives. They are not mere puppets in the hands of the Chancellor. They have their own power and influence, and their contributions are significant in steering the direction of the country. Then we have the Bundestag, the German federal parliament. It is the Bundestag that elects the Chancellor. Its members have the power to question the government's actions, propose legislation, and even call for a vote of no confidence against the Chancellor. This signifies that the Bundestag, too, holds a fair share of power within the German political landscape. Lastly, we have the Bundesrat, the Federal Council, representing the 16 federal states of Germany. The Bundesrat has the power to veto laws that affect the state's interests. This again illustrates that power in Germany is not monopolized by the Chancellor. So, to answer the question, does the German Chancellor hold all the power? The answer is a resounding no. While the Chancellor is indeed a key player in the political arena, power in Germany is not a one-man show. It is a carefully balanced act between various entities, each with its own sphere of influence and jurisdiction. The Chancellor is powerful, but power in Germany is shared, not concentrated. German politics is far from the myths that surround it. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've unraveled today. Our journey through the labyrinth of German politics has given us a clear understanding of the true nature of its political landscape, debunking many prevalent misconceptions along the way. Firstly, we've seen that the complexity of German politics is not a sign of disarray, but a testament to its robust democratic foundation. It's a system that encourages a plethora of voices and perspectives, a rainbow of political ideologies, if you will. This diversity is not a stumbling block, but a stepping stone towards a more comprehensive and inclusive decision-making process. It is a system designed with the intent of fostering dialogue and consensus rather than promoting unilateralism. Secondly, we've learned that the dominance of the two major parties, the Christian Democratic Union and the Social Democratic Party, is not as overarching as it might appear. Germany's political arena is not a duopoly but a vibrant hub where numerous parties, big and small, play significant roles. The political landscape is a dynamic interplay of different parties, each contributing to the policy-making process. Finally, we've debunked the myth of the all-powerful Chancellor. While the Chancellor does hold a pivotal role, power in Germany is not concentrated but widely distributed among various political institutions. From the federal president, the Bundestag, to the Bundesrat, each institution plays its part in shaping the nation's policies. This diffusion of power ensures checks and balances, preventing the emergence of an authoritarian rule. So there you have it. German politics, stripped of its myths, reveals a vibrant and inclusive democratic system, a dynamic interplay of parties, and a well-distributed power structure. It's a system that may be complex, but it's a complexity worth embracing. The next time you hear about German politics, remember, it's not as mystifying as it seems. Knowledge dispels myths.